let's get on with the complete September haul. Now you may have seen it, but I don't think you guys did. But it was like uploaded for like 5 seconds, and it was already a mistake because I had meant to upload it for schedule for tomorrow or today, the 5th, rather, because I didn't want to do 2 videos a day. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna upload that for tomorrow. So you might have seen it, but it was also incomplete because I forgot to include 2 books, which is a really weird thing that I forgot to do. Let's get on with it. First up is the Floppies, starting with Carnage issue 5. This is the first Carnage ongoing in a long time. Definitely the first of the of the 2020s, which is saying a lot for Marvel because I'm surprised they haven't had like 2 Spider-Man ongoings already. Which actually they technically do. No, one was a miniseries. I'm thinking of Ben Reilly's Spider-Man, but that was a miniseries, I believe at least. Something is Killing the Children 25. It's already in its slipcase. Well, it's not a slipcase. It's Mylar. I do that no matter what. No matter what issue of something is Killing the Children I always put it in the Mylar because I know even like the second issue is worth a lot too. I have the first printing of that, but even the first issue I have the 4th printing of, and even that's worth a lot of money. But I'm not gonna sell until I get at least until I get the first volume, which I probably won't because I don't like spending money on something I already have, you know. Then we have Once and Future 26, 27. 28. 29 is already out, which I knew that, but issue 30 is coming out next week, and it's a lot earlier than I thought it was coming out. I thought they'd take like a few months off. That was like November. Maybe whatever I looked at first, and it wasn't Amazon, it wasn't Comic List. I wouldn't have known. I think it might have been Image Comics website. I think it actually was. And then we got the one-shot Undiscovered Country Destiny Man special. One shot, and then issue 19, and then issue 20. A series I never thought I'd pick back up again. Mainly because I didn't like it the first few times I read it, but then, most recent time, I kind of changed my mind about it. And again, it was one of those things where I just had to have it. I don't know why. It was like one of those things where I was like, I don't see myself without having it. It's just I really want the book. It's really hard to explain, but I can't even explain it. It was one of those things, like, even though I remember not liking it all that much, it was just one of those series. I guess I wanted to see what's going to happen next, maybe. And it was also one of those books I kept giving, like, a 30th chance to, and a 31st chance. I was like, you know what? For the 32nd chance, let's just get the books. And it wasn't that expensive for the first 3 volumes anyways. The first one was $10. I got the second volume for $12.99, and then the third one I didn't get to spend. No, none of them had to spend full price on it, I don't think. It's like $40 for all 3. It's like, why not? Alright, now on to the trades. Very few Floppies this time around. And that was mainly because, because I wouldn't be able to get the books like this stack I'll show you in a second here. And secondly, because they just didn't have what I was looking for, which is nice. But I wouldn't have been able to get all of the boys. The boys' 6 omnibuses, and then the Dear Becky to finish off the series. First up, we got the Boys Omnibus Volume 1, collecting issues 1 through 14. I don't even have to look at it anymore. 1 through 14, and then there's Theo, and then there's some bonus material, including an introduction by Scott Dunbar, a rare 4-page story for the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. But I really wish they would do a reprinting of that, because we don't have... There's a John Arcudi one that we don't have. And it's the only John Arcudi Image Comics book I don't have. Now, what's really weird is that this is distributed through Dynamite Comics, but the Legal Defense Fund is Image Comics. You can actually find that, I believe, on their website, and they say, oh yeah, it's Image Comics. Somewhere it said it was Image Comics. I think it was Amazon itself, because I was looking up, trying to find the John Arcudi one. I got that one instead. I got this one instead, I believe, and it was like, oh, Image Comics, Garth Ennis, The Boys, and I was like, that's weird. They had like one for there was another series they had it for that I was kind of annoyed with, because I think I needed that one, or they didn't have it, whatever. So you got introduction, you got a rare 4-page story, but then you got the scripts, and then you got sketches and concept art, and then all the series covers and more. Most of these are just gonna be Oh, they look different. They look really different. I just realized that. Huh. Where's Popcorn? I thought she was. Yeah, there she is. That was this is the 7. Wait, Homelander isn't? I know Homelander was there. I guess I don't include him. I think they're going for like the smaller guys first. But yeah, this is the artwork. The artwork is really damn good. It's done by Derek Robertson, as I mentioned. I think as I mentioned. And some of but it looks a lot different than it does with Transmetropolitan. At least to me, it does. I mean, I guess I'll tell it's the same artist, but it's mainly, I feel, due to the colors by Tonya Avanda. And yes, I did start watching the Prime Video series. I had watched it before, but it was one of those things where I had watched it for a while and stopped watching it, and I didn't want to get back on it until I had all the books myself. And it was just one of those things I can't. It was like with Undiscovered Country. I could not shut that part of my brain off. I did like a series. I liked it a hell of a lot better than Undiscovered Country. I just thought that was very slow. I said very slow many times. I just thought it was very slow for the first 14 issues. 14 issues, and we're still at this point in the game. And I feel like the series does it a lot better. But I still want the series. I still want the books. And also, side note, these are the original covers. Not here. Is it here? Yep. These are the original covers to the omnibuses. I wish I had these. Or that they recreated the covers with the TV tie-in editions. Like, this one was Huey, which it isn't. It's kind of backwards, if anything. They showed this in the recreation, and then just had, like, the stand-ins for the TV show. It's not a deal breaker for me. Like I mentioned before, it's not a deal breaker for me. And at least the 5th and 6th volumes, and of course, Dear Becky, I have the original covers. And again, it's not a deal breaker. It's one of those things that I had it, so I mean it's the original, Not that I think it's going to be worth anything more. No, it doesn't matter what cover you have. But this one collects. Well, I'll go with the bonus feature. It's got an introduction by Brian K. Vaughan, who gave Lost, who gave a quote for it. He said it was a good book, one of those quotes they give for the back of the book to get you to purchase it. And this, I believe, is just 15 to 30. In fact, I know what it is. Oh, and also this was originally Wildstorm. Wildstorm did the first 6 issues of the series. But then they were like, "Get this out of here. This is too violent for us. This is too mature for us." I don't know why I just didn't go to Vertigo. Because when did this come out? Like 2000s, maybe? Yeah, it was actually. I know it was 2000s, early 2000s. And by then, Preacher had come out, and Preacher was very violent. And it's also by Garth Ennis too. So it's not like they were like, "Oh, who's this Garth Ennis guy?" No, they knew who he was. But this way, I think it was 15 to 30. I think maybe it gets more violent as it goes along, but I don't know. Preacher is pretty violent. I'd say they're both at least the same amount of violence. Like Preacher and The Boys are the same, Not like The Boys. I'm not downplaying The Boys as violence. I'm just saying that I feel like it's a lot worse. A lot worse. I think it's about the same in Preacher. The Boys Omnibus Volume 3. This one collects a little bit more than just the issues. Collects issues 1 through 6 of The Boys Herogasm and 31 through 38 of The Boys. And again, here you just got sketches, introduction by Jason Aaron. I like that the only thing that they credit him for is his Adventures run, which is pretty lousy. And he did give a quote too. That's why it's an introduction by him. That quote was probably just taken from his introduction, I bet. You got scripts, you got sketches, got series covers, and the comic that got the legend fired. I think that might be a write-up of how... No, it's the legend maybe. I thought it was maybe a write-up of how Wildstorm was get us out of here, you're no longer writing for us, that kind of thing. And it's a whole story of how they moved from Wildstorm to Dynamite, maybe. Although I don't think he got fired. I don't know. I also think it might be another little 4-page story in the book. Maybe. I don't know. There you go. And I might just flip through it because I'm trying not to flip through a book I haven't read yet. I mean, for the most part. I flip through books all the time to the artwork, but I already know how the artwork is in that book, so there's no point in doing that. Then you got The Boys Omnibus Volume 4, the last one they have of this cover. This one collects issues 1 through 6 of The Boys Highland Laddie and 39 through 47 of The Boys. Now, I like doing these end of the month hauls because there's always something I forgot to mention or I messed up on, so now I can, redo it, but not actually have to go alter the, annoyingness of doing it then, because sometimes I like to not do 2 cuts of a video, a pretty long video all in one. And one thing I did do was I forgot to mention that some of them collected more books. It's like, oh no, I forgot to mention collected 1 through 6 of this series. But I also had messed up. I think I did issue 4, or volume 5 before volume 4. I think The Boys Omnibus Volume 5, collecting. Oh, what is where there's. Was there anything else? Sketches by Ron Braun this time. Scripts, introduction by Joseph Reinbold. So I don't even know who he is. There's not even a quote from him back here. Scripts, sketches, all the series covers, and again, and more. I don't know what and more means. Points means like, oh, we have this at the back. This isn't anymore. The Boys Omnibus Volume 5. It's collecting issues of The Boys, issues 49 through 59 of The Boys, and then The Boys Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Maker, issues 1 through 6, published by Dynamite. I'd say I did the math right. You get 98 issues of The Boys in those 7 trades. Then finally, The Boys Omnibus Volume 6 of the omnibuses, anyways. Obviously, we're not even close to being done with the haul. Then Volume 6 just collects issues 60 through 72, which is the thinnest trade, and this one seems to be the thickest by a wide margin. And these are all $30 too. That's a good price. Even for this is a good price, because Amazon, like Marvel, I was surprised that there was a Moon Knight trade that was $34.99 for 14 issues. I remember being like really impressed by it. It's like, oh wow, that's actually a pretty good price for once. Because Marvel and DC, the big two, and I would say IDW, was the other one? I think it was IDW, are pretty annoying with their trade. So like, yeah, this one is $19.99 for no reason. See, this is 8 issues of The Boys, Dear Becky, and for $19.99. But this is a pretty thick trade. This would probably be $24.99 from Marvel. Actually, I know it would be at least $24.99. And they probably make it a hardcover for no reason, so I can jack up the price even more. Then we got the 3 that probably have the lowest reviews on Goodreads of all these. But the reason why I got it was because it was a writer, and 2, it got good reviews elsewhere. Like everywhere else it gave positive reviews. And that is Regression Volumes. I did it backwards because I have to do it backwards this way because it's the way it goes on the shelf will look weird. It'll look like that, backwards. But this is written by Cullen Bunn. I have yet to read a bad Cullen Bunn book. I read his, I remember his Presumial, and then which is a horror book, and it got pretty bad reviews on Goodreads, so I know at least better than, at least I know I like it. And I read his Deadpool run, like, not all of it, but like his mini-series, the, Night and Living Deadpool, the, Deadpool Kills, trilogy. Did not read the 4th one, they didn't have it. I think they do now. I think they have it now. I think I checked recently, they said they had it. I'm certain that same library, obviously it's available. You can just buy it. Okay, so Volume 1 collects issues 1 through 5, and the artwork is done by... So I'm doing that, yeah, it's done by Derek Robertson for The Boys. And actually, is it done here? By Derek Robertson for... I know, I go back and forth, I just want to check that now. No, it's Russ Braun. I guess that makes sense. It was Derek Robertson and Russ Braun did the original series too. I think Derek Robertson left the series after a while. But the art here is done by Danny Luckhart for Regression. And it's pretty good artwork. I mean, it's a bit more cartoony than I expected a horror book to be. But this book is a horror, and it's about this guy. He has like nightmares, and he has, it's like, of all people, this murderer hypnotize him so he can get inside his head and hopefully not kill him, to figure out what's going on. It's something pretty interesting. The one criticism everyone seemed to have was that it took a long time to get to the actual plot of the story, and it was kind of, took a long time, so it's kind of slow, which I don't mind. But then they said it was like, oh, it's kind of, there's a lot of exposition dumps, which I'm like, nah, it's the one thing I really hate about comics, besides it's boring. But, I hope it's good. Yeah, 1 through 5 here. Then 6 through 10 of, Volume 1 is called the Regression Volume One, Way Down Deep, collecting issues 1 through 5 of Regression. Then we got 6 through 10, and then on the back you'll see there's a quote by Steve Niles. So I've read his 30 Days at Night, and I thought it was pretty good, pretty decent. Volume 2, Regression Volume 2, Disciples, collecting issues 6 through 10 of Regression. Side note, Volume 1 was then $9.99, as it should be, for, an introductory volume from Image Comics. Regression Volume 3, Sacrifice, collects issues 11 through 15 of Regression. Then we got the other one that I took another kind of gamble here, and it's even more so than the Cullen Bunn one, because I've read nothing by this guy. And that is Witch Doctor by Brandon Seifert, and artwork done by Lucas Ketzner. For Volume 1 at least. I think Volume 2, Volume 2, Andy Troy comes on and helps out with the artwork or colors or whatever. But this is Witch Doctor, and they say it's House MD meets Doctor Strange. It's like the finding the cure for the apocalypse, which that sounds very interesting to me. The thing that stood out for me at first was that this first volume is $12.99 first off. And this really doesn't make any, see, it's definitely horror. It doesn't make any, difference here, but they also did say that, it was the first Image Comics Skybound book, which, I mean, the other Skybound horror book that I know off the top of my head, I'm sure there's more, is Oblivion Song, which, yes, is written by Robert Kirkman, who can't write a bad book and say, well, actually can. He wrote Super Dinosaur I didn't like. But even that was just kind of because it was for kids. I mean, I don't know. Because there's books for kids I still like to read, so it's kind of an excuse. But this one collects issues 0 and then 1 through 4 of Witch Doctor, because it was originally a mini-series. And then it came on for another mini-series for Volume 2, collecting the Regression, right? No, Resuscitation, or Resuscitation. And then Witch Doctor Malpractice 1 through 6. This is Volume, I keep forgetting to do volumes. Volume 1, Under the Bloody Knife, collecting issues 0 and 1 through 4 of Witch Doctor. And then Volume 2, Malpractice, collecting 1 through 6, and then the Resuscitation one-shot. This one feels a lot thicker than this one does. It's kind of funny. This was like, what, $14.99. Oh, and Warren Ellis calls it Mental, which is nice. And you got for Volume 1 at least, you got a, quote from Tim Seeley giving it good praise, Chris Robertson, we had iZombie, and then Ben Temple-Smith, who does the artwork for 30 Days a Night. So the whole creative team of Witch Doctor. And I wonder if, no, wait, I'm thinking Resurrection, or the, Cullen Bunn one, who was Steve Niles gave a review too. Buzzer review too. Now, this next one is a bit of another big gamble. But I like this era of Image Comics, so it wasn't too much of a gamble, but it's still pretty expensive too. And that is not pretty expensive because it's a good price for what you got, but it's still $30. And that is the Complete Cyberforce Volume 1. Now, apparently, there's enough to make a Volume 2, which I would like to get next year, not have to wait more than a year, maybe, for hopefully not more than a year, maybe for Into Darkness Volume 3, and then Witchblade Volume 3. The complete series, anyways. Trades. This collects Cyberforce Issue 0, Tin Men of War 1 through 4, Killer Instincts crossover with Wildcats 5 through 7, Volume 2, because it was originally a miniseries, and then got it the okay to make it an ongoing. Volume 2, Issues 1 through 13, Origins Issue 1, Cyblade Issue 2. Side note, I kind of have a soft spot for those old Image Comics names like Bloodstrike and Bloodsword and a lot of Bloods and then Blades, Bloodblade, Beyblade. Cyblade issue 2, and then Striker and Cyberforce Annual 1. Now this is a so I'll show you the artwork too. It's done by, I believe, Mark Silvestri. There's more. It's let's go over the full list. It was at least created by, oh no, it says it right here. Okay, cover art by Mark Silvestri. He's got edition design, layout, and restorations by Vincent Valentine, and edited by. I'm just gonna say Mark Silvestri because they don't credit any more artists. So yeah, Mark Silvestri. I think Eric Silvestri does the writing though. And this is also one that people the main reason why people buy it is because they're like, oh, I remember back in the day, back in the 90s, where I would go to 3 hours drive to try and find the missing issues, because it was very popular back then, because comics in general were super popular back then. I can only imagine how much more annoying it would be to not find the issue that I was on. Like, once in the future, I'd probably still not be able to find, much less I've gotten on it, you know? So, yeah, it's kind of a nostalgic factor for most people. In fact, I was the only one I have that has reviewed this book or overviewed this book that I know of, at least they watch, as a near-mint condition. And even he was just mentioning how, like I mentioned previously, he'll go 3 hours out of his way to find the missing issues. But it's still, like, again, like I said, I've read the Union, like I said before, when I reviewed this book, when I overviewed this book, when I showed in the comic hall, I had said how I liked the Union from Image Comics. That's a 90s book. I was 93 around the time this came out. And I like Savage Dragon and like Spawn. Like, there's not a 90s Image book that I absolutely hate. And I think that's just because of the fact that it's at least interesting. You know, it's not requiring you to, obviously it's not going to be anything like Saga. I know it's not going to be anything like Saga, or anything like, even like in Divine, you know, it's going to be pretty dated, but it's going to be the good kind of dated, and the bad kind of dated. And again, the artwork, I'm kind of a sucker for this kind of artwork, too. I think what people do is that when we talk about 90s books, not what they do, what they're thinking, that they kind of go by what the mainstream says. The mainstream says, oh, 90s books are so bad, the artwork was terrible, everything was so dated, and product over the time, I was so glad to be out of the 90s, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's really not. I mean, I really do want to read something, I kind of want to read something like Youngblood, like the really bad ones that even, like, people like me would probably say is bad, and see how that is, because I kind of want to read that now. Like, I'm kind of, this has piqued my interest in 90s comics in general, and I'm kind of glad I bought it, because it did kind of pique my interest in it. Again, like, there's the artwork, mainly. Which, again, this is the main reason why people got these books, too. I kind of want to wait till Volume 2 comes out to jump into this book, because I'm hooked on it, you know? I want to know that we're at least getting a Volume 2. If I know we're not going to get a Volume 2, I'll just read it, whatever, and then just get the other trade somewhere else, or somehow, you know? Then we got the book that is another book that, like with Cyberforce, is not as much of a gamble, but it's another big book for a good price, and that is What's the Furthest Place from Here? Now, this had overwhelmingly good praise, and also it's 6 issues, first 6 issues for $19.99, but look how thick this book is, you know? And that one was $30, it's Cyberforce, and usually, and a side note on the Cyberforce complete collection, that one is like $30, 600 pages, and then more than 12 issues, definitely, or more than 18 issues, definitely. I want to say, yeah, it's more than 18 issues. And then something like the complete Luther Strode softcover is $40 for 18 issues. I mean, it's looking like I got those books, obviously, but it's kind of like what. Sometimes Image Comics pricing is very weird, as you'll soon see here. But sometimes they are good. Sometimes their pricing is like spot on, and like you almost feel like you're getting a steal for it, even at list price. And it's $19.99 for a thick book like this. But you got quotes from James Tynion and Ed Brubaker and Scott Snyder and Rick Remender and Jason Aaron and Kelly Thompson, all of whom I've read at least one book from them that I like. Jason Aaron, I read his Thor and his Scalped, especially his Scalped. James Tynion, his Something That's Killing the Children, and other books. Ed Brubaker, his critically acclaimed, it's not on here though, Killer Be Killed, which thoroughly enjoyed. Like, that's one of my favorite Image comics of all time. Scott Sander has Wytches, which you'll see here. Rick Remender, the Tokyo Ghost, Jason Aaron, I already mentioned, Kelly Thompson, her what did I read the Kelly Thompson thing like? There was something about the Jessica Jones, the six-issue miniseries. I feel like I've read more though. I don't know. That collects. So this one is I've been going out with Witch Doctor. Cyber Force just seems to be like superheroes, 90s kind of sort of like cyber. They're like robot superheroes. No. Okay. I thought that was a text. It's a group text. That means that's okay. Okay. So this one is by Matthew Rosenberg, and like I mentioned when I went over it, I had read his Four Kids Walk Into a Bank, which I really enjoyed. And this seems, they say, a lot of people that review this book say it's very similar to it, but not as good, but it's very similar to his Four Kids Walk Into a Bank. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? My dog was like really restless today. She's supposed to be resting, but she can't rest. God, why is everything going off? Oh, nice. It's a scam email. I love that. Of course, I just hit the wrong thing. I hate the one thing I hate about getting email notifications is, of course, it goes off like when I'm trying to do a video. And I'll try and hit, like, the, one from, like, say, Rogers Memorial Library. So if there's one that would be below another one, like, oh, hey, here's this one, I almost always accidentally hit it. Like, no, go away, I need to read this one. It won't let you go off of that one. Like, yeah, obviously I'm going to see they have notifications. I'm on the mail itself. You don't need to tell me again. But anyways, going back to this. This is, like, the apocalypse, I think? No, yeah, apocalypse. And all the parents are gone, now it's just the kids. And they have to survive, the apocalypse and everything. Survive living there. And it sounds very interesting. And again, 6 issues, yeah, and I always think quantity by quality, and I did see 6 issues for $19.99, I was like, wow, that is bullshit. It's bull. That is that is way too overpriced. That's what I was looking for. That's way too overpriced. And then I saw that, because I always think of, like, issues, like, oh, it's just 32 pages per issue. It's like, what, 144 pages, 150 pages? That's overpriced. But then I didn't think of it. Hey, maybe issue 1 is 50 pages, and the first 3 issues in general were double-sized. And just in general. Then we got Rogue Sun, which was part of the Massive Verse from, started by Kyle Higgins. You got Radiant Black. I'll show them all here, because I think they have them all here. Yep, Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, Radiant Red, Dead Lucky. There's going to be Radiant Pink coming out. Which is really weird they don't have Radiant Pink here, because I think Dead Lucky isn't coming out until, like next year. And I know next year, but I think Radiant Pink is coming out sooner. Technically, they're both Volume 1s are both coming out next year. Maybe they don't have Radiant Pink issue 1 out yet. Maybe I am wrong. This one collects issues 1 through 6, and it's, I go over. I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, artwork is done by here. It's done by Boss. Who Boss? No, sorry, Tyler Boss does the art. Does the storytellers. Claire Dunzati is a color assistant. Shy Cheeks is a color assistant. It's a weird name. Courtney Mendard is a map, so it's like a bunch of yeah, it seems to be the same kind of artwork as 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, which I really enjoyed, and it's the same kind of panel layout too. It seems, at least there it did. But Rogue Sun is written by nice. Eric Kripke, I just realized that. I just noticed that the boys creator says this is stellar. But this is written by Kyle Parrott, right? No, Ryan Parrott. It's Volume 1 Cataclysm, collecting issues 1 through 6. Writer is Kyle Parrott. Artist is Abel with Simone Regazzoni. And then Francesco Mortinaro. Let's see if it's the interludes. Artwork looked really good when I was flipping through it in the first cut. That I should have. I forgot. I don't know why I forgot that. There's 2 books. Yeah, 1 through 6. So keep this in mind. 1 through 6 were $19.99. Also, the 1 through 5 of Regression Volume One was also $9.99. So why, pray tell, is the first 5 issues collected in here, Bloodstained Teeth? Why is this $16.99? This is an ongoing. So, what's the deal? What's their excuse? But Scott Snyder said it was good. Scott Snyder, Patton Oswalt, Chip Zdarsky, said check it out. Now this one is written by Christian Ward, and the artwork is not done by him except for like a few pages here and there. But the art and co-creator is it says creator. They don't credit Christian Ward as the creator. He does. Oh no, they do. It's way at the end. Never mind. But creators are Patrick Reynolds and Christian Ward, and then Patrick Reynolds does the art. Colors done by Heather Moore. So this also looks really good. So this is I keep saying this is a vampire, and he's like into a cult or something, but he turns to other people who want to be vampire. If you want to be a vampire, go to this guy. He bites you, a vampire. This is Volume 1. This is Book 1. Sorry, Book 1. Oh, so is that why it's $16.99? This is Book 1, Bite Me, which is my mother's favorite. It was my mother's favorite comeback to like someone to maybe like to come back. So this is 1 through 5 of Bloodstained Teeth, which again it's been $9.99. But again, I got it for free. We got a gift card. Newburn Volume One, 1 through 8 for $16.99, and that's a good price. But this is by Chip Zdarsky. It's like a murder mystery, I believe, and it's like a noir. It's crime and mystery. It's like rival crime factions, and his assistant follows murders, arsonists, and corrupt officials while trying to stay out of their crosshairs. But how long can that last? Kind of one of those books. Exactly what I thought it would be. This collects issues 1 through 8 of the hit Image comic series. Now this makes sense why it's not $9.99. I believe it's a miniseries. The artwork is done by Jason Phillips. Yeah, 1 through 8. And then Ed Brubaker and Karen Gillan give it high praise. I really like it, and I know this is like one of those things that it shouldn't really matter, but it does to me. When a top tier creator that I read their work and liked and loved their work from them give a review of another book, I'm kind of skeptical. They get like, this book I know the author, but I don't know. And then they're like, this book is really good, check it out. And it's like, a top tier creator said that? Sure. I know it's probably because they're on the payroll or something like that, so, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but I hope it's not that. I hope it's the fact that I actually like these books. Actually read them, liked them. And ironically enough, I have Bloodstained Teeth next to another bloody book, specifically Step by Bloody Step by Cy Spurrier, Volume 1, A Wordless Fantasy. I did not notice that the first time went over this, so meaning like very few words. The only words I saw when I was flipping through it was like, so the art is done by Mateus Bergaro, with colors done by Matthews Lopez, and then graphic design done by Emmett Price, and glyphography by Jim Campbell. So a lot goes into the artwork of this book, which makes sense because that's what the main appeal of the book is, that there's no words to cover up the artwork. This is 1 through 4, but you can tell that each issue is a bit longer, just a tad bit longer than your normal size. And then also I was very confused whether or not this was Cy Spurrier or Simon Spurrier. They're two different people because Image Comics has 2 different credits for Simon Spurrier. It's Simon Cy Spurrier. Quotes. Simon quote Cy Spurrier. Simon quote Cy Spurrier. This one was one that I like Cy Spurrier's work again, like I said before, but it was kind of one of those things that I was a bit skeptical to get, and I saw this artwork. It looks to be a lot heavily anime inspired. Kind of reminds me of Attack on Titan, for whatever reason. I think this is like shows no memories. He's a guardian. It's an armored giant who protects her from predators and pitfalls. So sounded interesting. Then we got. We're almost done here. The Weatherman Volumes 1 and 2. Weatherman Volume 1 collects issues 1 through 6 of the Weatherman number 1, and then Weatherman Volume 2 collects of Weatherman 2, 1 through 6. Jody Hauser really likes doing those, think. Oh, those, like, not issues 7 through 12, mind you, no, it's the Weatherman 2. He did the same for, Shirtless Bear Fighter. Shirtless Bear Fighter 2 is not 1 through, it's 1 through 6, not 7 through 12, or however issues it's gonna be. However many issues it's gonna be. Now, this one got overwhelming praise from top-tier creators like Rick Remender, Garth Ennis, Frank Quietly, Gary Duggan, Greg Rucka, Jeff Darrow, which only I don't know anything about. He did stuff for Shelling Cowboy and Hardboiled. Cool. This one, the main reason why I didn't get it is because Volume 1 was available at my local library, but Volume 2 wasn't. I was like, maybe if I wait long enough, it will be. And I was like, no, it's stupid. It's not going to be. I'm still waiting for them to have the Volume 3 of Middle West. Kind of makes me angry. Like, I know it's a library, but they can't spend like $17.99 on just one more. Oh, and Kirby's Egg, too, gave it high praise. What did I mention that? The art, so it's written by Jody Hewitt with Nathan Fox and Dave Stewart doing the artwork for Volume 1, but then Dave Stewart being replaced by Maurino Ticino for Volume 2. The artwork was another thing that kind of held me back a little bit. I mean, here it's... where's the part that... Yeah, like right here, kind of, sort of. Like, come on, Blair. Go away. There we go. It was kind of like that kind of artwork, and I was like, yeah, it's a bit too cartoony. But I got over it. Especially now that I flipped through it, because the art... Sometimes the art will show its strengths in the action, which it has plenty of. Now, this next one is one that I... Again, like I said before, when I showed this off at the beginning, the comic haul, I can just go to my local library and just pick it up for free, obviously. And that is Wytches, a book I've read so many times. You know, I might as well keep it. Might as well buy my own copy. It's It's also $9.99, and it's also a pretty thick book for $9.99. So I was like, why the hell not? It collects 1 through 6 of Wytches. And nothing on there's also a, besides a Bad Egg Halloween special, that's what they called it, it was Bad Egg Halloween special. Besides that, we got nothing. We haven't even gotten a follow-up to what happened at the end of the book, because Bad Egg was a prequel, playing the gaps that you heard about in the book, which was pretty interesting. I did like that they filled in those gaps, but it was kind of like, okay, now that you did that, where's issue 7, and nothing yet. Kind of wish Scott Standard would get off Undiscovered Country and bring us some more Wytches, because this is my favorite Scott Standard book from Image Comics, at least. Because I mean, this is like top tier stuff. And finally, we have Nita Hawes, Nightmare Blog, Volume 1, The Fire Next Time. Oh, and the artwork is done by Jock and Matt Hollingsworth, and the artwork is probably the there's nothing in this book I don't like. The artwork is top tier, the writing is top tier, the pacing is top tier, everything is top tier. So now going back to Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog, Volume 1, The Fire Next Time. Drawn by Jason Sean Alexander, and written by Patrick Reynolds again. But written by Ronnie Barnes. But Patrick Reynolds does what? What does he do? He does the art for Chapter 1. Then Will B comes to Chapters 2 to 3, and 4 through 6 is Simon Krasnunki. But it's created by Rodney Barnes and Jason Sean Alexander, but the story is done by Rodney Barnes. Got it. So why they credit Jason Sean Alexander? He just created the book. It's like, oh, here's an interesting thing, and then Rodney Barnes is like, okay, let's do this though. So very violent, as you can see. And it's mature content. Yes, it is. So I'll go over them again because I kind of want to do I'll do like a overview of the art. I won't say what's collected in them. Oh wait, this one collects 1 through 6 of Nita Hawes' Nightmare Blog for $9.99 again. So what was Step by Step? What was Bloodstained Teeth's excuse? Yeah, Bloodstained Teeth and Step by Bloody Step, like I mentioned before when I went over actually both times. I mentioned that Step by Bloody Step and Blitzing teeth that got them confused. I was like, wait, didn't that already come out when Near My Condition was going over September solicits? And I was like, I thought that was already out. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, so that's why it said 1 through 4 before, and I thought it didn't, but it did. That should have been my tip off. Maybe it was, I just forgot about it again. I don't know, but now I won't forget. Clearly. Okay, so the boys, let's go over. I'll do this. Got Carnage by Ram V, and the artwork done by someone Mana, and the other guy. Something That's Killing the Children by James Tinian. I'll give the artwork though. Dan Mora and Tamara Bolovian with Karen Gillington writing for Once and Future. It's 26, 27, and 28. If I can get it out, there we go. Then Undiscovered Country. Charles Stoll and Scott Snyder teaming up for to write this book, and then Carmaguchi, Grassi here. No, it's in chart. This one's here. Yep. Charles Stoll. So Giuseppe Camalughi, and then Leonardo Marcello Grassi. Coloring by Matt Wilson, which is nice. Lettering. It was Matt Wilson. Matt Wilson did and the guy issue 20. Issue 19, issue 20. Look at the Divine. Then The Boys, written by Garth Ennis, drawn by Derek Robertson, with some finishings by. Yeah, there's a lot of additional arts and junk, but mainly it's Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. Put it up there, so squish that. Not squish that, doesn't rip. Then John McCrea comes on, which he did Hitman with Garth Ennis, and Ed Squizera. Again, a lot of artists. That's for Volume 2. Then Volume 3, it's still Robertson. Volume 4, then Volume 4 is the Braun guy who does the rest. Wait, sorry, no, yeah, it said Volume 4. Volume 4. McCrea comes on for Volumes 5 and 6. Then you saw it here. Becky was also the Russ Braun, right? Russ Braun? Yep, Russ Braun. And then you got Regression, Colin Bunn, and Denny Locker does the artwork along with Mary Enger. And they did that the entire series. Kind of speed running through all of them. Here, I'll show them again. I don't know why I didn't do that. Sorry, I didn't do that because it's a lot to go over. Regression. Witch Doctor. Brandon Seifert, Lucas Kettner, and Troy comes on for Volume 2. Cyberforce, Mark Silvestri. And then a bunch of other uncredited artists, which is not good. Voice of Furthest Place from here. How am I doing this? This is like Hassan Osama. Oh, it's just lettering. What did they credit lettering before? Oh yeah, a bunch of coloring assistants like Claire, and then Shy Cheeks, and then Courtney. Russ Parrott's Rogue Sun, Bloodstained Teeth, Christian Ward, Patrick Reynolds. Bunch of artists for Rogue Sun. Newburn, Chip Zdarsky, Jacob Phillips. Separately Steps, Simon Sparger, Vince Mateo, Bagara, and the third artist. Weatherman, Julie Wahoo, Nathan Fox, Dave Stewart. Then he's replaced, and Dave Stewart's replaced by Moreno Dezinsto for Volume 2. Witches, Scott Snyder, Jock Hollingsworth, and Robbins. And finally, Nita Hawes Nightmare, Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander. Then Patrick Reynolds comes back, and Welby, Lewis Neist, and Simon Kazarnke. Well, a lot of artists for that book, too. That, as they say, is that. 22 trades in all, 15 of them Image Comics, and then 7 of them Dynamite Comics. The first time in a long time, since May, I want to say, at least, since April, at least, since April at least, that I've been getting more than just Image Comics. But May rolled around, we had 41 of them. I saw it was only 60, including the 41. So I was like, yeah, we're going to change that up now. 44 minutes. There we go. I wondered why my first cut was so short soon, and it didn't even click in there. Then. A lot of books, and of course 8 floppies, but a lot of books. Almost too much. No, not too much. I can never get too many books. Be on the lookout for even more. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. At least I'll be ordering them on the 8th, and then they'll come in whenever. Maybe later if I decide to get what I'm getting right now, but I may change my mind. I don't want it. Some of them I have to wait a long time for, and I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. But that, as they say, is that.